Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I'd like to welcome you all to today's top 4 feature match between Majid Khan and Elijah Gersten in YGOverdose's first Dueling Network cash tournament. My name is Kristopher Perovic, and joining me today will be everybody's favorite superstar from across the pond, Simon He. Simon, I understand you want to start off with a few words about the round 6 feature match between your teammate Soros Siberian and our top 4 finalist Majid Khan. So why don't you just say hello and then get right into it.
Hello, Chris. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks, man.
First of all, I was just watching the feature match from yesterday, from the last round of Swiss, and I just finished watching that feature match, and just put it into context. In game 3, it was wind-up versus anti-meta, and the situation was the anti-meta guy was on 5,900 life points. The wind-up person was on 500 life points. The wind-up person had Levier with no materials, DD War Lady, Stardust Dragon, and a Thunder King on the field, and his opponent had a face down monster. And the thing is, we were debating about whether the anti-meta person had cores. But looking back on it, it was quite obvious that he had cores, not because of how he played, but literally because of what he said. Because Sarouche, the wind-up person, actually went to overlay, and he forgot that the path of imperative was removed. If he overlaid, and the set card was Reaper, by the way, if he overlaid, then it was game, right there and then. But his opponent started arguing that he overlaid, and then he stopped. Literally, he stopped, and he said, okay, whatever. That's literally what he said. And then Sarouche attacked into Reaper with DD War Lady, removing it. Now, if all of them attacked for game, if all of them attacked, that was game, and his opponent knew that, the anti-meta guy knew that. So it was so obvious to me, as soon as you attacked into the Reaper, it would have been so obvious that it was that he had a cause, because any person would have argued that for. He literally said, oh, you overlaid, and then Soros explained that he didn't overlay, it was a misclick, which it obviously wasn't a misclick, because you need to click twice to actually overlay. And then the person just said, oh, whatever, carried on, and then Soros attacked into cause, and it wasn't actually what he played at all, it was just how he said it. It was just, oh, whatever. He just decided not to pursue it at all. So I just thought it's quite interesting that it's not the things people do, it's just the things that people say sometimes that can give you reads.
That is very true. Of course it's very true. I also had a similar conversation with Alistair in the feature match. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah.
About how, the information that people can give away, that things don't necessarily have to do with
The card.
Yeah, the actual cards and stuff. More to the point is this match, the guy that you're referring to, who's also playing right now, is Majid Khan. He looks like he's in control of this match. Actually, wow, he really looks like he's controlling in this match. It's kind of unexpected how quickly he's been able to
gain control.
Yeah.
Kind of really fast.
Like, you just said one thing and then you finished, and then it's about to be game 2. That's wild. I was listening to your story. I'm not even thinking about what are these cards? What are these cards? And then I just can't. And I'm looking at life points right now. I can't believe it's 600 life points already.
Such a strong matchup for the anti-meta windups, because it's kind of, because they have all the beat stick monsters, all the anti-meta cards that the windup person can't get past unless they combo off, and it's so hard for them to combo up with all the hand traps and the Thunder Kings and the Batmans and everything. So literally, the turns, if it goes well for the anti-meta, it'll be summon a big guy, Thunder King or Doomcow, and then mostly Thunder King, or DD will set DD World Lady, whatever, just a big guy that's bigger than the wind-up person's monster. And then when they try to go for combo, you max it, you fail it, you attack, next turn they do the same thing, you trap them, so they're left with weak monsters. So they're all left with weak monsters. It's so hard to find the person to combo up, and that's the only way to win.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 things. Going into this match, Elijah shared with me that, and Josh Graham, his friend, who's also watching this match, that he actually felt like he had a really good chance of beating Majid Khan. Actually, I don't know if it's widely known yet, but these two actually played in the Swiss rounds. Round 3, they played off against each other. Their match before went to game 3, but Majid won before. Majid right now is undefeated against windups right now in this tournament, and you know it. Huh?
I'm not surprised at all. Like after watching, I said to Sarush yesterday when I was watching his match that he has a really good matchup against you, which a lot of people don't seem to realize. And Sarush agreed. Yeah, I'm looking at his deck and just it has such a good matchup against windups. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I did send that to you. Just I guess without without waiting to see what happens. Any quick guesses about what either person sides in for game 2?
Oh, well, with looking at the net lists.
Yeah.
Well, yes, obviously the anti-meta person, Majid is it? He will side in the Maxis. Fiendish Chains. The wind-up person will see. The wind-up person might side in the D Fisher because it'll stop the Thunder King and it'll stop the hand traps. But I think Sarush sided D Fisher yesterday as well. But I personally didn't like it. If you draw it at the wrong time, it's just a dead card. It's one of those things that do nothing at the wrong time.
Are you also one of those people that just generally don't like windups and separately don't like windups who side into D Fissure outside of this particular matchup?
Sarush sided out Factory, which I think the windup person should side out Factories, all three of them, when going second as well, because they just don't do that much against the opponent with 3 Thunder Kings, with maxed out 3 Thunder Kings as well. I mean, the windup person will need things like the Snowman Eaters, obviously, Soul Takers, which he does have sided. So things like Factories should be sided out. They don't really do anything like the upstarts. If he sided 2 Snowmans and the Dusts and the Soul Takers, then he will have to side out the Factories and probably the upstarts as well.
You know, I want to draw your attention to the match right now. I mean, Elijah's kind of got Majid on a technicality here. I think Majid's probably sending me a message. Yeah, he is. He's asking me, can he do that? Like when he went to go play before, Elijah never said the effect of Wind-Up Magician. He just dropped the shark and the magician.
He's doing that? Well, that's dirty.
I mean,
okay, fine. To remain professional, dirty is probably the wrong word, but I think he can. I think he can do that. I mean, he technically did not ever say effect. It's obviously implied that he's going to use effect.
Yeah, I know. At the same time, this is the sort of thing. I mean, you make top 4 in this tournament. You know, cash is on the line. It's the difference between $10 and $200. You should be waiting for your opponent to say effect.
It should be ruled how it should be ruled in an actual tournament. And personally, any judge would know that. Any judge of any kind would know that the wind-up player will activate the wind-up magician's effect, but he didn't. That's the thing. And so in Elijah's, is that how you pronounce it? I apologize.
I'm assuming if it's wrong, it's wrong. I mean, I think I'm ruling with Elijah right now.
Yeah.
Okay. This is really unfortunate. I hate that. That's the sort of scummy, dirty, underhanded crap that I wouldn't normally tolerate.
Yes, he's not wrong either.
I know. It doesn't mean I like it anymore.
True. Really true.
I'll just tell him, be more careful in the future. That probably gave away the game.
You should tell them both to announce everything, just like you would in an actual tournament. This is something that Europeans do a lot in terms of announcing everything, because there's so much language barrier that you just have to.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't really even I never think about it because I'm from America.
Yeah. I told Fraser and the Americans that came over beforehand about some things like this, and yeah, nobody would tell you the same thing. You just have to announce everything. You have to be clear. Sometimes announce things twice.
Do you see any way that Majid wins? I'll just say Ill Thunder. Do you think there's any chance that Ill Thunder wins this game?
Yeah, if he somehow walks in, if the Wano player somehow walks into torrential, and I don't see that happening.
Neither do I. Well, let me rephrase.
No, that's fine. You'll probably just get another rabbit, and just he has the upper hand at the moment. There's no need for him to, unless he has a like. I've been going back and forth talking, so I haven't really had a good read on Thunder's back rows. But unless the Wano player has a good read on the back rows, then there really is no point to overextend because he has control at the moment. He has advantage. You know, he's even got advantage on life points as well. He could just remove.
Mm-hmm.
You just keep looping the magician with rabbit and just keep on getting rabbits and things like that. There's absolutely no need to overextend.
I agree. I'm looking at Ill Thunder's deck list. I see 2 of each trap, and none's been played. I have no real reads right now.
Oh, he doesn't play torrential. Oh.
You know, I didn't even notice that. Well, then that's a problem.
The Wino player doesn't know it.
Yeah, I don't think he does, but I think that there's a good chance Compulse is coming right now. Maybe. Oh.
So Compulse is out of the picture.
I mean, it's still possible. Ah, but that one's definitely an MST. Yep.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
The thing is, if they played each other in a Swiss, then surely the Wino player should have some kind of knowledge on this person's deck. I mean,
but
there is no torrential, but the way he's playing so safe, then yeah, he's not sure that he has no torrential.
Yeah, that's actually, that comes to like a larger point. I don't know if you saw in the Facebook group, I posted a question or a poll question back in the day. Upper Deck used to give out the deck lists for the top 16 to each of the top 16 players, and I was considering doing that for our next tournament. You have any thoughts on that?
In an actual event, I think it's a good idea. There's arguments for both sides actually. In an actual event in Europe, they don't. You know how they restrict people, the top 8, the top 16 and top 52, to be within a certain area, and if you go anywhere, you have to have a judge escort you. The thing is, they don't do that here in Europe, and anybody in the top 32 can just go to and ask their friends, what does this guy play? What does this guy play? What's in his deck and things like that. And that's an unfair advantage to the opponent. And what UDE used to do, giving out the deck list, they did that once in Europe as well, which is actually a good idea to stop that. But also at the same time, that same argument goes that you ruin any innovation you ruin the surprise of someone else's deck. If someone depends on that surprise in their strategy,
of course,
and it's kind of bad for them. They just lost out completely. So in a way, it's fair to stop people from talking with others, to finding out deck lists, but it's also unfair at the same time.
Well, you're right, and I understand both sides of that. But I just want to take a look back at this game for a second. This looks like it's about to be it for Ill Thunder.
Yeah, has he used Pablo Perisic yet? Well, he doesn't need to. He can use Black Corn, like any one of the 2.
That's right. Does he run it?
That is true. I mean, I think he should. Like, why don't he? Oh no, I don't think he runs Starlight Road. He doesn't. Yeah, okay, that's good. He doesn't run Starlight Road, so there is that extra space. But he doesn't. He's. Yeah, he's got Soul of Silvermount. Okay.
All right. So now that we've got more time to look at it, I'm looking at at the wind-up list right now, I think Snowman Eaters, and Messenger Pieces, and maybe Soul Takers and/or Dust Tornadoes. I don't like really siding in that many cards personally, but I mean, those are all good cards that I think could come in. I don't really care so much for the D-Fissure either, though.
No. I don't like that either, especially when he's going second as well. That's seems like a risky strategy. Yeah, the Snowman's the maybe one dust. I probably wouldn't side in 2 dust because he's got 3 MSTs and a Storm already.
Sure.
From the way that the Thunder's been playing, he's not actually setting a lot of cards at all. Like from yesterday's game, he doesn't actually set that many cards. He actually uses quite a lot of monsters for a anti-meta deck. I'm not sure if the wind-up player actually caught on to that. Yeah, just the Snowmans and Soul Takers and maybe one dust on it, nothing else.
I don't even really care much for the dust. I like the Snowmans, the Messengers, the Soul Takers. I like taking out the upstarts, and I mean I've got to think he's taking out the Maxis as well, and I don't know what 2 other cards yet, but
yeah, the Maxis should go. But the thing is with the Messenger, like I thought of Messenger too, but it's not something. The Thunder King is an issue, and the Doom Cow can be an issue. But if you've got so many traps and you're siding in Soul Takers, I don't see any point of stock because he's not playing like a really fast combo OTK deck. So there's no reason to stop him from attacking that much. There's no fear of him going OTK, and usually siding Messenger in decks have to stall that sectors until they get their combo, or against decks that are really combo-y and just goes really fast. And anti-meta isn't like that. So personally, I wouldn't side in Messenger Piece.
I mean, I hear you. I understand what you're saying. At the same time, I'm thinking, these games that I've watched Ill Thunder win, he's been able to capitalize on an opponent not opening up with the nuts. He just puts out like 2 guys out there, and then you don't have that rabbit factory quick enough, and then now you can't come back. And like in those situations, like I watched Sorosha's game yesterday. Sorosh, I think, drew like 3 Typhoons or 2 Typhoons or something like that. I'm imagining if one of those Typhoons was a Messenger apiece, Sorosh could have stayed in that game. And
yeah, that's true. That is definitely true. The worst is that Thunder doesn't put out more than 1 monster at a time. Maybe 2 monsters at tops, unless he's going for game. And with Snowman sided in, it's going to be quite difficult for him to get past Snowman with some cards. And Soul Taker sided in, and him having all that traps. There's already enough removal. So it's not bad to have Messenger in. Sometimes, like you said, siding too much is not a good thing.
Yeah, no, I hear that too. It always messes with the flow of the deck. I hate siding in more than like 3-5 cards tops.
Well, I guess the argument, you can put the argument that because he's going second, then he can side in Messenger. If he was going first, I definitely don't think he should side in Messenger, but because he's naturally behind, because he's going second, and because his opponent will most likely put out an anti-meta beat stick that stops him from doing pretty much anything, then yeah, the argument for Messenger Piece is good when he's going second.
I feel like he just drew like a Starlight Road. Does he run it?
He does not. I don't.
He doesn't. Maybe it's a solid. I feel like there's something there, and like now he's about to pop off. I'm just calling it right now. And he's gonna try to connect with Reaper. Nope, I'm totally wrong. There's a Soul Taker, so he did side it in. Good job, buddy.
No.
Wow, that's weird.
You just think about that for a second. It could be Solemn Judgment.
Yeah.
I mean, might become Compulse.
Oh, I'm like almost certain there's a Compulse somewhere.
Yeah. compose now, then it's absolutely hard to compose.
It's pretty cool if he composes his Reaper right now.
Really? Drawing, and oh my god, is he going to Vader it?
Those are the worst. I think he's trying not to lose to his Solemn Judgment. Like, he wants to compulse or whatever, but he doesn't want swagged out to the max to use his Solemn Judgment.
That makes sense. Anonymous. Okay. Right, yeah, okay. That definitely makes sense.
It also doesn't matter so much if he happened to catch one of Swagged Out's MSTs, because the chances are like 50-50 that he's going to chain it and hit the compulse anyway. Oh, he missed the Solemn.
I think he has the Solemn Judgment face down. I was just going to say, when he set that card face down, the card that Thunder has. Yeah. Yeah, he is scared of Solemn Judgment, but it wasn't quite the scenario that you planned it out to be. It's just that the way they were setting, Thunder wouldn't have lost out to Heavy Storm that much. Even though he had 3-2, it wasn't like set all the back rows. It was just set 2. I think it was set 1 and then 2.
Do you think a BLS is coming down?
I have no reason to think that.
I think it's Yu-Gi-Oh! And I want it to happen. And that's good enough reason for me.
I think so. That would be awesome.
Right off the top, too.
This definitely can be anyone's game. But the way that Thunder's thinking, like, the lineup player has no back rows whatsoever, and the way that Thunder's been playing, he's thinking about things. He clearly doesn't have a great move. Not even a Thunder King. Not even a Doom Cow. But maybe a Doom Cow, I don't know.
It could be. That's what I was thinking, like a Doom Cow, and he's pretty disappointed because Doom Cow's gonna like get off, and then he has to get hit by Reaper again or something like that. Oh, what did I tell you? Oh, what did I tell you?
Oh, he went down straight away. There was no need to think about that.
Oh my gosh! Tell me this is game right now because he let the Reaper go through and like he missed the Solemn, and that all worked out really nice. Oh, that would be so funny.
Yeah, but he has another monster, then obviously it's game. But clearly, because he was thinking about it, then it's not another monster.
Something tells me it's like a Doom Cow, and that's why.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Although you have to summon a Doom Cow. Yeah, no, I don't think it's a Doom Cow then. Because if I was Thunder, I'd be thinking you have to summon a Doom Cow to force out the Wind-Up Rabbit. Otherwise, he has another level 3, and if he draws anything like
True story,
like that, he could go off.
Never mind, I agree. Oh, what's he doing? Well, I'm pretty sure that was
probably.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
2 back rows.
This is really interesting. This is so tense. This is game 3, right?
Yeah, this is game 3. We've been talking so much that we haven't even noticed. And the games have been going on quite fast.
Yeah. More turns per minute than I think most of the feature matches that I've had.
Yep, absolutely. It's hard to keep up with them because of that, because we're trying to analyse the moves and we're trying to commentate on it at the same time, but then they make another move, and if we miss that, then we miss a read.
Yeah, that's very true. I was thinking about just get your opinion while nothing's going on. Do you think it'd be better to keep this going on live as I've been doing it, or to record the matches and then speed it up maybe 1.5 times or 2 times as fast, and then do commentary over it at that speed?
The latter, what you just said, because especially the one where you posted up, which was 2 hours long, that was far too long. The thing is, with live, that's not good. That's not a good idea either. Live, a lot of things go wrong with live. I mean, your internet could cut out. I mean, we actually YGOverdose tried doing live for one of our internal tournaments with Twitch and everything, and that just did not go well at all. Live, you have to be really organised. Everyone has to be on key with live. I mean, you have to get these guys to come on time. Otherwise, the people that you're advertising to, that it will be like disappointed because the duelists aren't here on time, and that's just one of the biggest problems. So the latter, you speed up the games a little, not by a lot, and then commentate over it. That's probably best.
I do want to talk to you more about this. I don't know if I'm going to do it during this feature match because I'm trying to think right now, like, what could be possibly faced, like what he's thinking about.
Levier, the top mode, kind of surprises me.
Yeah, no, he's confident, right? Like he's.
No, I think he's making a push because he knows that if he doesn't make a push, then he loses. So he has to make a push. Being on 600 life points like that, he's not confident at all. He's just, whoa, did he work it? Why did he work it? Okay. Oh my god, that Levier. So he wasn't making a push. That Levier being attack mode.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, come. It has to be.
That's game. That's game. Unbelievable.
Was it in attack mode?
If that's not, he didn't flip it.
Yes, he didn't flip it. I mean, that's a shame. It has to be a taunter on this play. You can't. It's too obvious on attack mode like that.
Say Ill Thunder didn't have any typhoons and swagged out to the max, just set one. You've got to think, if you're sitting there in a tournament and you know that you're staring down a Levier and a DD Warrior Lady and you're at 2,900 life points, and if you attacking right now is going to, and you're going to run into Mirror Force, if that's going to cause you your tournament life, or it's the difference, for example, between $10 and $200, and you know that he just left it in attack mode, you have a strong reason to suspect that that's a Mirror Force face down. Like he wants you to attack that. You know, if this was a real tournament and I was Ill Thunder and I didn't draw those Typhoons, I would have just removed the Levier right there.
Because it's too. With Elijah, the other person. I'm gonna call him Swagged Out. I mean, I've been calling him the wider person. Yeah, that was an audacious move. It was really good if it was a bluff, because I actually did that once in the past format, and yeah, it has to be something. It has to be like a Mirror Force or Deep Prison or something.
Just to be clear, the options were, or there was no Mirror Force in his deck. The only option was a Deep Prison. So I mean that would be my guess.
Okay, so Deep Prison. Okay, well, even you said that if he just set one, then it was obvious. Well, it was obvious enough just because he summoned it in attack mode. Even if he set two, I personally would still read one of them as something to stop BLS or kill BLS if I attacked. Otherwise, it's still too risky. If I MSC one of them, especially if I only had one MSC, if I MSC one of them and I saw part of Avarice, I would definitely not attack.
Of course. It's the same reason as before. My tournament life depends on it. You know, I'm just going to remove that Levier. It's a safe play. I'll do the same thing next turn, get rid of the DD Warrior Lady. He's not coming back, etc., etc.
You want, like, it's something that, that's definitely a possibility. It's something I did before where my opponent dropped Gauze after I attacked with two Cabazals, and I went into Lagia and set two back rows without no pauses or anything, and it's so obvious that those back to stop the Gauze, the attack of the Gauze, and they never were. I can't remember exactly. One of them was an MST and one of them was something else. We were both pretty much top decking. So the theory is that he will not attack. He will not be audacious enough to attack. If I bring out a lot so
confidently,
so confidently tempting him to attack and everything, he would not attack. Okay, but if he does, not if he does. Even if he draws MST or heavy struggle like that, because I have Lagi, I can negate, and he still won't attack like that. So the situation is similar, although in this situation it's less concrete than my situation. But Swags definitely realised that he had no other options to come back from this game unless he did this. So, okay, I think it is a bluff then, because he didn't have to play that Levier move at all. He could have just set and switch, and he would have removed, and then there was no need to do that. It was too obvious of a bluff.
You know, that's interesting, and actually I think I have this figured out now. There there are three possibilities, I think. Either Swag drew a prison, a torrential, or it was a bluff. And if it was a prison, he couldn't leave the Reaper on the board. It was just fish food for BLS, so he had to get rid of it. And Levier was probably the only rank 3 option he had outside of Acid Golem. And he could leave the Levier in attack mode to draw an attack, but like I said, I don't think there's any way I'd attack if I'm Ill Thunder and Swag has a back row. So if I had a prison, I think I would telegraph something else because I really do want to draw in an attack. I probably would have telegraphed a torrential, and I think the easiest way to do that against someone like Ill Thunder is to just leave, or just to Levier, but to leave it in defense mode and bring up a Sangan instead of the DD Warrior Lady, because Sangan always telegraphs torrential. And of course, my Levier is going to get removed by BLS on the following turn, but I think on the turn that follows that, there'd be a good chance he'd read my back row as torrential and just man up instead of removing Sangan. And that's what I could have put my prison to work. I really think that was the best way to make a prison non-obvious. So if he had prison, I think what he did was the wrong play. But if Swag drew torrential, I think Levier and DD Warrior Lady are better options than having Reaper and Rabbit, because it buys you 2 turns. If Thunder doesn't normal summon anytime soon, because he has to first remove the Levier and then the Warrior Lady. So I mean, if he had torrential, I think Levier and the Warrior Lady was probably the right play, but I wouldn't have summoned Levier in attack mode, because I still think it's an unnecessary risk, in case he mans up. So, I mean, if he had torrential, I still think what he did was the wrong play. The third possibility, though, is that it was a bluff. And the important question is, what was Swag trying to bluff? I think he should have been trying to bluff a prison there. So I would have given the appearance of prison in an obvious sort of way. And I probably would have done that in the same way Swag did, because that just, it looks like a prison. It looks like he's trying to bait an attack. I mean, so if I'm giving Swag the benefit of the doubt and assuming he played perfectly, I would assume that the back row was a bluff. So that's what I'm calling it as. I think it was a bluff. And, with that, I think it's worth noting that I might play against that read differently depending on who I was playing against. For example, if I'm Ill Thunder and I didn't draw a second MST, then I'd be kind of scared to attack because I don't know that my opponent is playing perfectly. So I'd still just remove the Levier, etc. But if I knew him, if it was a good average player like Josh Graham or whoever, I probably would have just attacked through the Levier. And on the other hand, if I was playing against someone like Jeff Jones, I know he's the kind of guy who could use this sort of reasoning against me, so I probably wouldn't have attacked through Levier. I would have just removed, etc. Really wish that he would have shown it, but
definitely. That's why I was kind of stuttering with my thinking about this, because it works either way. It is a real shame that he didn't show the card, and it's a real shame that he had 2 MSCs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would have been really interesting if he only had 1 MSC and he MSC the Avarice.
Yeah, that would have been way more interesting. But separate from anything else, I just want to point out before we wrap this up that this anti-meta deck, which has been universally hated throughout the tournament, no one wants to play against it, etc., etc., is just tearing up the field. It went 5-1 in Swiss. I think right now it's 4-0 against windups. I don't know if this was a great read on Ill Thunder's part to make some sort of anti-meta deck. I don't know if this is just a fluke or what's happening, but every step of the way, people are looking down at this deck, and I'm not saying that he has the optimal build. I've seen a lot of his games go to game 3. Maybe this is just a bad version of a better deck or what, but I'd be very surprised if 13 wind-up decks entered my tournament and this anti-meta deck won. In fact, actually, you know what? This was the last wind-up deck. Wind-ups can't win. That's just remarkable to me.
So there was 13 wind-ups. What else were there?
There were 4 waters, there were 3 agents, there were 3 worms, there were 2 chaos dragons, and everything else was a one of.
What did he lose? Did he lose to an agent?
Yes, in fact.
This deck is quite weak to agents. I mean, agents will rush it.
Of course.
So, I don't think it's a good read at all, because if I'm going into a tournament like this, that it hasn't really been done before, I would think, okay, everyone's obviously going to play a meta deck, but the thing is, there are so many meta decks at the moment, it's not just windups. you can't really. It's really good against windups, but it's not great against everything else. So I don't think. Personally, I don't think it's a good read at all. He'd had to hope that everyone would be
playing windups.
Yeah, we'll just go for the wind-up option as the meta option because there is definitely the back row option. There's definitely the water option. Water and wind-up should be the most popular decks in this tournament, and I don't think this deck is very good against water. It's too slow against water. It has to go first and open the right anti-meta card.
You know what? You're right. Actually, I think I misspoke. I don't think he lost to agents. I think he lost to the water deck.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you said in your last feature match, when you were discussing the Doom Cow, the Doom Cow is, in theory, if he doesn't draw the Thunder King and the Undyne, then Doom Cow is okay, but he's got to have something. There's so many ways to bait out that Doom Cow. Doom Cow, like Alistair said, Doom Cow has never really been a good card in my opinion because you just get rid of it too easily. Just make dead hand traps live right there and then.
All right. I mean, I'm a complete agreement with you. Every step of the way, I don't really like it against waters or much of anything. I said in my last feature match, anytime I hit a clear shot, I'd rather hit with a Spirit Reaper. I mean, I understand he's running Doom Cows in addition to the Spirit Reaper, but it's just a testament to how much I don't need or feel a need to have the card. I do like Thunder King. I do like Spirit Reaper. The rest of the deck, not so much. But you know what? At the very least, I'm gonna give him credit where credit's due. He's turned this tournament up, and you know that.
Yeah, he has done well, and at the same time, it is quite lucky for him to face all these windups. So out of 7 games so far, he's played 4 windups, which is the majority. So that was quite lucky.
We'll see how he does in the finals when he's guaranteed to not play against the windup deck.
Matchup at the moment in the top 4.
Sorry again?
Matchup in the top 4, the other top 4.
You're asking what the other 2 were?
Yeah, the other 2 top 4 decks. What are they?
They are Waters and Agents.
Okay, then I'm gonna have to predict that he's not gonna win. With Thunder's not gonna win.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I've doubted this guy one too many times. I don't want to even make an opinion anymore.
Sure. You have to stay biased, but like I'm just gonna say what's on my mind, and I'll be a bit biased. Yeah, you have to stay unbiased. Sorry, but personally, I'm gonna stay biased and say that Water and Agent will, probably even 2-0 this deck.
Anyway, Simon, listen. Thank you for doing this with me. I appreciate having you on. I love your accent. I wish I had one just like it. You want to say anything to the people of YouTube before I end this video?
Well, I haven't really thought about it much, so not really. I mean, I just like Unity. I think this is like a great thing that you're doing. I mean, you're putting, you're giving what players are demanding, better prizes, and it's been done pretty well so far. I was very skeptical at the beginning, but it's run quite smoothly. There's been no complaints or there's been no delays of like drastic measures, so it's run smoothly for the entire week. So yeah, it's another that goes on like this in the future, and I probably will consider entering if my internet would allow connection poor. So yeah, I'd just like to say thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Man, no problem. I appreciate everyone basking in this. I love that everyone's enjoying it. Anyway, I'll catch you soon. Say goodbye. Say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it.
Take care.
Take care. You too.